Welcome everyone. Happy Thursday if you're watching live. If not, happy whatever day it is. Today's yoga practice does not require any props and there are no poses on your knees. Yay. We are going to start standing and we'll make our way down to the mat. So if you want to have your device, if you're using a device and not your TV, if you're using a device, you can have it up on a table for the beginning part and then move it down to the floor for the end part. Or you could stack it on some books. Today's session is called All the Warriors. We're going to be doing all the warrior poses today. And you can put your own music on if you like. I'm not playing music. So go ahead and start standing. And we will start with a hand gesture called a mudra. And this is Garuda, the eagle. So cross your thumbs, bring your hands towards your body, relax your shoulders down, tall spine, breathe. If you want, close your eyes for a moment and just think about the eagle flying high, soaring high, in harmony with nature, in balance. Harmony and balance, those are the two words that this mudra represents. Take one more breath cycle. Release your hands, give everything a shake, and we'll start with a spinal warm-up, standing up. I'm backing up so you can see me head to toe. I'll try to project my voice. I was going to play around and buy a microphone, but I didn't get to that. So let me know afterwards by giving me a comment if you cannot hear me or cannot understand me, and I'll work on that microphone for next week. Well, let's start with our spinal warm-up. Standing tall, shoulders back, palms forward. And let's start with elongation. Inhale, scoop the air up. Inhale, lift the ribcage and float the hands down. Do that again. Inhale, lift and release. This time bend the knees a little bit. Inhale, lift, stretch up and release one more time. Bend those knees and reach as high as you can and float the arms down. Going into standing cat and cow, flexion and extension. Start to bend your knees, bend your hips, round your back, tuck your chin, and then reverse. Stand tall, pinch the shoulder blades together. Do that again. Exhale, standing cat. Inhale, standing cow. Twice more. Exhale. Inhale, exaggerate the motion. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, lift the heart and release to stand tall. Give it a shake. And we'll go into some lateral flexion. Step just a couple inches wider so you have a nice foundation so you don't tip over when we're going to the side. Place your right hand on your right thigh, left hand to the sky, and start laterally flexing to one side. Think about the lifting motion here. Think about the left rib cage lifting up away from the hip. One more, and we'll switch. Place that left hand on the left thigh and start your lateral flexion. Don't lean in towards your device. Stay tall through the frontal plane. One more. And release. Finishing off with rotation, we'll go into a slow motion sprinter. Right arm forward, left elbow back, and then switch. Engage the abdominal muscles. Tall spine. You always want to protect the low back by squeezing the navel into the spine. One more each arm. And release. Roll those shoulders back. One more little warm-up move here. Shoulder dips. Step wide on your mat. Your feet are still parallel, so it's a giant number 11. And we're going to start with just a hip sway. Hands on your hips, or you can let them hang loose. And just sway from one side to the other. Bring the hips towards that bent knee. And we're going to add a tiny bit of a rotation here, drawing one shoulder forward and then the other. You can keep this very small. Because we're twisting, engage the abdominal muscles. If you want to make this deeper, you could add a little reach. And you can come even deeper into this motion if you like. Slow it down. Do one more to each side. And stand tall. Keep your feet wide. We're going to start with our warrior 2. We're not going to go in numerical order. That's okay. You don't have to. And each of our warriors, we're going to purposely add a little misalignment so that we can realign and feel the difference, so we really understand how we want to align those warrior poses. So we're going to start with our right foot forward. Take your right toes and point them towards the skinny end of your mat and bend your right knee. Kick out that left heel. If you want, you could ease it back a little further if you want a wider stance, or you could keep it in more shallow. You pick. And now, take those arms out to a T. Roll that left shoulder back. And here's our misalignment. What happens if we misalign this front knee? What happens if we lean it in towards the screen? It doesn't feel good on the knee, so purposely push it back and align the knee over the second toe. Warrior two. From here, we're going to go into side angle 3 times. Right arm down towards the right thigh, stretching the left arm up and over, and come back to your T. Second time, side angle, and come back to warrior two. Third time, stretch into side angle, core strength and stability, and return, warrior two. Relax your arms for a moment. We're going into our second warrior, reverse warrior. So take that left hand, gently rest it on your left thigh, lift your right arm up to the sky, and now open the right side body, lateral flexion. Here, what happens if we start to lean towards the screen? We're going to get all out of alignment there. So purposely lean in a little bit, see how that feels, and then lean back and feel the opening that happens when you align in the frontal plane. Let's go back to warrior two. Come back to a T 3 times. Back into your reverse. And warrior two. One more time. Reverse. And warrior two. Relax your arms for a moment. We're going to do the full range of motion now. All the way down to side angle and all the way up and over into reverse. So start with those arms into a T. Check that right knee. Make sure it didn't start to flop inwards. It's still going over that second toe. And we bring the right arm down. Side angle. Reverse up and over. Second time. Side angle. Left side body stretch. Reverse up and over. Right side body stretch. Last time. Side angle. And reverse. Come back to your warrior two. Roll the shoulders back into your shoulder blades, into your back pockets. Beautiful warrior twos. Relax. And now bring all your toes to face the screen. And we'll set up for the other side. Same sequence, other side. So take your left toes, point them towards the skinny end of your mat, center the foot in your mat, and bend your left knee. Take your right heel, kick it back. If you want, you can shimmy that foot further towards the back of your skinny end, or you can keep it shallow or somewhere in between. We're trying to line up the heels, but if that makes you feel like you're going to tip over, it's okay to have a little bit of a difference. If it doesn't feel good to be on a balanced beam, go ahead and adjust. Take that right shoulder back, extend the arms into a T, and now let's do our baby misalignment. Let that knee just fall an inch towards the screen. You're going to feel it twist. It doesn't feel good, so push it back and keep it lined up over that second toe. Beautiful warrior twos. We're going to side angle 3 times. Left arm down, right arm up and over. Use your core strength, stabilize. Lift back up to warrior two. Second time, side angle, Parsvakonasana. Back up to warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Third time, side angle stretch. And core strength brings you back up. Relax the arms for a second. We'll go into our reverse warrior two. So place that right hand on the right thigh, left hand up to the sky. Start to laterally flex the body. What happens if we start to lean in? We lose our alignment. So think purposely rolling back, opening the chest, and opening through the armpits. Breathe, add a little more lateral flexion if you can, and come to warrior two, like a T. Twice more. Reverse, warrior two. Once more, reverse, and warrior two. Relax the arms for a second, and we'll do full range of motion, all the way down into side angle, and up and over to reverse. Send those arms out to a T. Check the alignment. Did your knee start to fall towards your device? If it did, set it back over that second toe. Feel that alignment. Now we're going to side angle. Dip down, exhale, And inhale, reverse all the way up and over. Second time, side angle, stretch, and up and over, reverse. One more time, side angle, stretch, up and over, reverse. Come back to warrior two. Pause here, shoulder blades into your back pockets. Relax the arms down. Point all the toes towards your device. Soften the knees and walk back to center. Shake it out. So that took care of two of our warriors. Warrior two and reverse warrior. We have a few more to go. Let's do warrior one next. We're going to turn to face the skinny end of your mat. And we're going to step our, let's step our left leg back. So we'll start with that right foot forward on your mirror image. Sorry about that. I got to think about my right and my left versus your right and your left. So your right leg is forward and your left leg is back, and then drop the heel down. If you want a wider stance, you can step it back a little, or you can make it shallow. You pick. We're still on the balance beam with the heels if you can, if that feels stable to you. And now we're going to turn away from the screen and look over that bent knee. Going into warrior one here, arms up, tuck the shoulder blades into your back pockets. Beautiful warrior ones. Don't look at the screen for a moment. Just focus on your warrior one. Beautiful. And now what happens if we don't square off the shoulders to the mat? What happens if we accidentally turn the body? Now I can actually see the screen. I don't want you to see the screen, because when we step this foot back, we have a tendency to rotate towards that back foot. Purposely rotate away from that back foot. Push your right shoulder back. And now set that warrior one up. We're going to go into dive into the pool. If you want, take a peek at the screen for just a moment. We'll be going hands heart center, and we'll dive down and we'll lift back up. Okay, so now don't peek at the screen anymore. I want you to look at your own right knee. Hands to heart center. Exhale, dive into the pool. Inhale, lift up. Don't look at me. Just look towards your skinny end of the mat. Heart center, second time. Exhale, dive into the pool. Use your core strength to lift up. Back to heart center. One more time. Don't look at the screen. Look over that right knee. Dip down, lift up, and come back to heart center. We're going to go into another warrior, our fourth warrior, humble warrior. Start to lower your chest towards that right thigh. If you need support, go ahead and put your hands on your thigh. If you can, use your core strength. Keep coming down and let your arms come behind your body. Misalignment here might be that we're bearing all the weight on this front foot because most of the weight is forward. So purposely push back into that left heel. So we're going to bear weight on both feet. Even if your hands are on the thigh, push back into the foot behind you. Look straight down at the right big toe. And now look behind you at the left foot. Bow the head. Humble warrior. If your hands are on your thigh, you can keep them there. But if your hands are extended behind you, you can add a shoulder stretch. Hold your own hand and lift your hands up away from your body, stretching the fronts of the deltoid muscles. One more breath cycle. Everyone hands to the thigh. Everyone hands to the shin and straighten the front leg. We're coming into pyramid pose here, a bonus pose. This isn't a warrior pose. If you need to keep your hands on your shin, you can. But if you can reach down to the mat, you'll get a deeper stretch. You can peek at your screen for a moment and check it out. Both legs are straight, like the shape of a pyramid. This is also called intense side stretch because we're stretching the outside of the right leg. To deepen that stretch, walk both hands to the outside edge of that right foot. If you're on your shin, you can place both hands or just turn your chest a little bit towards the right, away from the screen. That'll deepen the stretch. One more breath cycle. Bend your front knee. Lift your back heel, rotate the foot, step the foot forward. Keep your hips low, reach forward into chair squat, rise all the way up, and let your thumbs touch your mind. Your spirit breath and your body. Shake it out. All right, we got 2 more warriors checked off our list there. Warrior 1 and humble warrior, but we have to do them on the other side. We'll go ahead and turn to the other end of our mat to do that. So come towards the other skinny end of your mat. And this time, let's see, we had our right foot. Okay, so now the left foot is going to stay forward. I had to think about it for a second, sorry. Left foot stays forward, right foot goes back. I'm still your mirror image. Drop that heel down. Let your heels be on a balanced beam so they're lined up. Again, if you feel like you're going to tip over, then just set that foot a little bit further off your balance beam. You pick. It can be further back on the balance beam, or it can be more shallow. Again, you pick. Setting up for warrior 1. Align the knee over the second toe. And now when we step that foot back, we automatically turn our body slightly towards the screen. So let's align. So this is a purposeful misalignment. We don't want to be looking off to the side. We want to look directly over that left knee. So throw that left shoulder back, lift your arms up. Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Feeling a little bit of rotation through the center body here. We're going to do the same thing that we did on the other side, so don't look at your screen right now. Look in the direction over that left knee, bring your hands to heart center, and we'll dive into the pool 3 times. Exhale, dive over the knee, core strength lifts you up, and come back to heart center. Second time, exhale, inhale, lift up, heart center. One more time, exhale, dive, inhale, lift, and heart center. Going into humble warrior. Start to fold your body from the hips. If you need support, place your hands on that left thigh. Or if you don't, sweep those arms behind you. Misalignment here, you're bearing all the weight on the front foot. We don't want to do that. We want to involve that back foot. So shift back, push into that back heel. Look directly down at that left toe, whether your hands are on your thigh or behind you. And now bow the head even further, looking at the foot behind you. You can stay here with your hands on your thigh, but if your arms are extended, you can add the shoulder stretch, hold your own hand, lift the hands away from the body, and we're stretching the fronts of the deltoid muscles. One more breath cycle. Everyone bring your hands to your thigh. Everyone bring your hands to the shin. Finishing up with pyramid pose, straighten both legs and draw your chest a little closer to that left leg. If you can, bring your hands all the way down to the mat. Intense side stretch, Parsvottanasana. If it's accessible to go a little deeper, you can walk both hands to the outside edge of that foot, or if you're on your shin, walk both hands and turn slightly towards the left. One more breath cycle. Bend your front knee, lift your back heel, rotate the back foot, step your back foot forward, keep your hips low, squeeze the navel, chair squat, reaching out. Inhale, rise up, thumbs touch your mind, your spirit breath, and your body. Shake it out. All right, we've checked off 4 warrior poses now. Warrior 2, reverse warrior, warrior 1, and humble warrior. We've got 1 warrior left, and that's our balance pose, warrior 3. We'll do it on the right and the left side in succession. I'm going to step a little bit closer to you just because I don't want to kick that furniture behind me. All right, warrior 3. We'll start with leaving the big toe on the mat to give us a little kickstand, a little stability. Make the number 11 with your feet. Hands to heart center. Bear the weight on your right foot. Let your left heel become light and step that big toe behind you and just barely touch the mat with your big toe. Find your stability. If you can, ease the chest a little bit closer towards the earth. If you can, float that back foot up. Flex the back foot. You can keep your hands at heart center. You can place them on your hips. You can make airplane wings, whatever you like. Misalignment here is to let the belly sag. Instead, draw that navel into your spine. Feel the strength through the core muscles. If you can, come into a T shape or as close to a T shape that makes sense for you. Gaze is slightly forward. Look at something that doesn't move. One more breath cycle. Knee in, rise up, and step down. If you need the wall, go ahead and stand close to the wall. But try to challenge yourself. If you have your fingers touching a wall, go ahead while you're balancing. Take the fingers away for a second and then touch again. Take away and touch. Challenge yourself so that you can progress and grow. Energize the soles of the feet, and we'll go into Warrior 3, second side. Hands to heart center, shoulders back and down. Engage the navel. Bear the weight on your left foot. Let your right heel become light and step it behind, letting the big toe touch the earth. You can keep that big toe touching the earth the entire time. You do not have to float it. Start to ease your chest a little closer to the earth. Hands can stay at heart center or on your hips or airplane wings. You pick. If you can, float the back foot off the earth and flex the foot. Energizing the back of the leg muscles by flexing the foot. If you can, come into a deeper T shape. Remember, the misalignment is to let the belly fall down. Instead, lift that belly up. Don't look at me bobbling around. It's hard for me to move my arms and stay balanced. So look at something that doesn't move. One more breath cycle. Knee in, stand up, and release. Shake it out. Good work, my friends. We checked off 5 different warriors, all the warriors that we're going to do today. We're going to do one more standing pose and then make our way down to the mat. Our last standing pose is a strength pose called chair squat. We already did one on our way up from the pyramid pose, but we're going to add a little pulsing motion to our chair squat. So set your number 11. I'm going to turn sideways just for a second. You don't turn sideways. Keep looking at your screen. I just want to show you in chair squat. Here's what happens if you do not engage your belly. If you do not engage your belly and you let your belly fall forward, you get this little scoop. It's almost like the ski jumps where they have a little flip at the end so they can get some height. We don't want that. We want to ski straight down. So when you come down into your squat, draw the navel in so you don't have that little scoop up. You have a straight shot down to the earth. All right, so let's come into our chair squat. Hands at heart center, shoulder blades in the back pockets. Bend your knees, bend your hips, squeeze that navel. Draw that navel into your spine. Bring your arms behind you, palms facing up, and we'll pulse 5 times. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rise up, reach up. We'll do it twice more. Come down into your chair squat, squeeze your navel, arms behind, we pulse it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach up. Last time, heart center, bend the knees, bend the hips, squeeze that navel, arms behind, we pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms up, inhale. Float the arms down. Beautiful work, my friends. That is at the end of the standing sequence. So if you want to make your way down to the mat and bring your device down to the floor or maybe on a stack of books, go ahead and do that. I'm also moving the camera angle. And go ahead and have a seat on your mat with your legs extended forward. We're going to start with a stretch. I Dream of Jeannie. Oh, notice the water bottle. Pay no attention to that. That's a prop that you don't need. I might if the dogs get loud. Move the fleshy part of your bottoms away from your sits bones. Ground into your mat. Shoulders back. I Dream of Jeannie stretch. It's a stretch for the connection between the cervical and the thoracic spine. Gives us a greater range of motion in the ability to turn our head. So start with your hands resting, shoulders back, tall spine, ribcage lifted, engage the abdominal muscles. We're only turning the head. Do not move your shoulders. Your shoulders are in cement. And we'll go to the right side first. Inhale. Exhale, turn your face to the right. Go as far as you can go. And remember what you're looking at. Maybe there's a spot on the wall, maybe a piece of furniture, a window, whatever. And come back to face me. Now we do the stretch. Arms come into I Dream of Jeannie. Does not matter which arm is on top. Shoulders relaxed. Two important things. Do not move your head. We're moving the arms this time. And you want to move the arms as far across your body as you can. And we're going in the opposite direction of where we just looked. We just looked to the right. That means arms are going to the left. So sit tall, engage the navel. 10 times. Here we go. 10, 9, don't move your head. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax your hands back onto your thighs, shoulders relaxed. Inhale. Exhale, turn your face to the right, and hopefully you're finding a greater range of motion. Come back to face your device. Relax the shoulders, and we'll do that on the second side. First, we assess the range of motion, then we do the stretch. Inhale. Exhale, turn your face to the left. Go as far as you can. Remember the spot that you can see, because hopefully the second time we'll go past that spot. Come back to face me and stack your arms. I Dream of Jeannie. Remember, our arms are going in the opposite direction of where we just looked, and we want to go as far across as we can to really get a great stretch. Do not move your head. Tall spine, engage the navel. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, don't move the head. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax your hands back to your thighs, shoulders relaxed. Inhale. Exhale, turn your face to the left. And hopefully find that greater range of motion. Come back to face me. Roll your shoulders back a few times. And we're going to go into some seated stretches. Let's start with Eagle Fold. We started our practice today with that hand gesture that represented the eagle. So let's add another eagle into our sequence today. Eagle Fold. Arms forward, right arm over the left. Bend both elbows. And now you can keep the backs of your hands touching like this, or you could rest your hands on your shoulders, or you could hold your own hand. That deeper wrap there adds a greater stretch for the shoulders, so it's up to you. Listen to your body. Elbows come up to shoulder height. It's okay that you can't see my face right now because we're all going to bow and we're not going to look at anybody's face. Start to draw your navel into the spine, tuck your chin to your chest, fold from the waist, draw those elbows towards your belly. Feel the rounding in your back body. Maybe you feel the stretch in your hamstrings as well. Inhale, lift back up. We'll do it twice more. Exhale, Eagle Fold. Inhale, lift back up. One more time. Exhale, Eagle Fold. And inhale, lift back up. Release. We're not going to do the second side. We'll save that for the repeat. But we'll go ahead and go into our figure 4 or seated pigeon pose. Hands come behind you. Gently recline. Bend just your right knee and place the ankle on top of your left thigh. Now bend your left knee. Remember, you can set up the stretch for your body. If this is too intense, bring that left foot closer to your device. If you want more, bring that left foot closer to your own hips, or even pick up your hips and set your hips down right next to your heel. Let your hips be heavy on the mat. We're targeting a deep stretch in that right hip, going for deep muscles, gluteus medius and piriformis. We're going to have a tiny rocking motion to make this a dynamic stretch. So that right foot that's hanging up in the air here, push it towards the left. Come back. Do that a couple times at your own pace. Just gently rocking. You're not even rocking so much that the left foot changes. You're not rolling onto one side of the left foot. The left foot remains stationary on the mat. You're just bending one side over. One more. And release it, sending those legs forward. And we'll come into open angle fold. Coming into a V shape. Remember, your V shape might be more shallow or it might be wider. Move the fleshy part of your bottoms away from your sits bones. Arms come forward. Hands touch the earth. Draw your upper body closer to your device and draw those elbows down. Open angle fold. Now we've got a nice stretch for our inner thighs, the backs of the thighs, the hips, and the low back. Breathe. One more breath cycle. And rise up. We're going to go into head to knee pose. So draw your right foot into the left inner thigh. If this is too much flexion on the knee for you, you can move this foot down the leg. Your knee will float up. If you move the foot down, the knee will float up, and that's okay. But if you need less flexion on the knee, just reposition the foot. If it's okay, you can draw that heel all the way up into the groin. Turn to face the extended leg. Bring both hands below the knee, draw the elbows down, and let your entire upper body reach towards those left toes. So you're not thinking about just coming downwards towards the thigh, you're thinking about reaching all the way down the leg towards the toes to really enhance the stretch through that low back and outer thigh and hip area. You can bow your head here, but keep the entire upper body reaching towards those left toes. Let's take 3 breath cycles here at your own pace. Just relax into the pose. Breathe. One more breath cycle. And we're going to add 2 variations here, a bind and a rotate. Let's start with the bind. Keep your right hand where it is on the left leg. Pick up your left hand, thread it underneath that right, and set your left hand on your right inner thigh. Keep reaching your upper body towards the left toes, and then add a little push with your left hand. It's like we're trying to separate the legs by having one part of the body reaching left and another part of the body pushing right. Deepening the stretch. Breathe. One more breath cycle. Keeping your left hand on that right inner thigh, we're going to add rotation. So lift your chest up a little bit and turn your chest towards your device. Maybe open the arm towards your device or rainbow up over your head. That'll be the deepest stretch. You pick. If this bothers your shoulder, you don't have to come this high. You can keep it low right here. One more breath cycle. Bring both hands back to that left leg. Lift all the way up from your pose. And we're going to do that same sequence, that entire sequence on the other side. So bring the legs back forward. We started with eagle fold. So bring the arms forward, this time left over right. Bend both elbows. You can leave the backs of the hands touching or rest your hands on your shoulders. Or you can add that deeper stretch by adding the extra wrap and holding your own hand. Relax the legs, they're not doing anything in this pose. Lift the ribcage up, draw the navel in and start to bend the body from the waist. Drawing those elbows towards your belly, drawing the chin to the chest. Feel that deep stretch in the back body. And if you go low enough, you're going to start to feel it in the backs of the thighs as well, the hamstrings. Tuck the chin a little closer. Breathe. One more breath cycle. Inhale, lift up. And last time we did it 3 times in a row. So let's just add 2 more for 1 breath cycle each. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Last one. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Unwrap the arms. Roll the shoulders back. and we'll go into our seated figure 4 or seated pigeon pose. Bend your left knee, bring that ankle on top of the right thigh, bring your hands behind you to gently recline, and now bend your right knee. Set up the stretch for your body, less intense, more intense, most intense. You pick. Let your hips feel heavy on the mat. I want to add that very small rocking motion. That left foot that's up in the air here, the one moving, we're going to push it to the right and then come back to center. Remember, it's such a small motion that your right foot isn't rocking onto one edge of the foot. You're keeping the entire right foot on the mat. It's that small of a rock. One more. Go ahead and extend those legs forward. Coming into open angle fold. Set the shape of your V for your body. Move the fleshy part of your bottoms away from your sits bones. Bring your hands forward to the earth. Draw your upper body towards your device and let your elbows fall down towards your thighs. Breathe. You can bow your head here if you like. If it's accessible, you can crawl forward another palm print, lowering the elbows. One more breath cycle. Don't look at me. Listen to your own body. You might be back up here. Here, you can look at me. This might be your fold. That's okay. Or this might be your fold, and that's okay too. It's all about your body. One more breath cycle. Walk your hands back towards your body, and we'll go into head to knee pose. Bend your left knee and draw that foot towards the right inner thigh. Remember, if this is too much flexion, to have the heel tucked to the groin, move that foot further down the leg. It's okay if the knee is floating. If this bothers your knee to float, you could even tuck something underneath it, like a pillow or a yoga block. You pick. Look towards that extended right leg. Bring the hands below the knee. And now start to draw the entire upper body towards those toes. Draw the elbows down, pulling the shoulders away from the ears. Breathe. We'll take 3 breath cycles here and then add our variations. So keep looking down at your leg, maybe even towards the toes to get a deeper stretch, and take 3 breath cycles. Feel that stretch. Targeting the left side body. One more. And we'll add our bind. Keep your left hand where it is, resting on the right leg. Pick up your right hand, thread it behind, and set the right hand on your left inner thigh. And now keep looking at your right toes and extend your body towards those right toes as you add a little pressure from your right hand, pushing left. So again, we're reaching upper body right and then pushing that other leg away, creating that force to lengthen the stretch in both directions. One more breath cycle. We're going to keep the bind. We're going to keep that right hand on the left thigh and add rotation. Start to lift your chest up a little bit. Turn the chest towards your device. Maybe bring that left arm forward in front of your body, or maybe that rainbow over your head. That'll give you the deepest stretch. We're targeting a deep low back muscle here, the QL, quadratus lumborum. It's that diagonal muscle between the rib cage and the hips. One more breath cycle. Turn your body, look back down at that right leg, return both hands to the right leg, walk your hands back towards your body to sit tall, and extend both legs forward. Shake it out. Continuing with our map sequence here, we're going to go into the mermaid sequence. So that's a sideline pose. We're going to challenge ourselves today. If you've done the mermaid sequence with me before, we usually do 3 sequences with 1 leg and then 1 sequence with 2 legs. Today we're going to do 2 and 2. Now, option, if 2 legs is too much, you can do the entire sequence with 1 leg. That's okay. So we're going to come down into a sideline pose. So take your right elbow to the mat, bend both knees, Now, if your mat is directly on a tile floor and you need to put an extra cushion or a towel or something underneath there, that's fine. But we are going to roll back onto the cushy part of our bottom. So don't worry, we're going to get some more cushion in just a second here. Mermaid stretch and mermaid tail. Mermaid tail is a strength move. Mermaid stretch is obviously a stretch move. Don't sink down into the shoulder like this. You're not a mermaid that's falling asleep. You are Ariel, or whatever the mermaid's name was in that Hans Christian Andersen book. I don't know if it was actually Ariel. But if you go to Copenhagen and you see the mermaid sitting on the rock, she's not falling asleep on the rock. She's lifted up. She's actually not even resting on her elbow. But we're going to rest on our elbow here and come into mermaid tail, a strength move. Lift both knees. Now you're on the soft, fleshy part of your bottoms. That top leg, your left leg, you're going to straighten the knee, reach up and tap the toes. Bring that knee back down. Bring both knees down. And now keeping the hips on the ground, reach way over the head with that left arm, stretching down the side body. Second time with one leg. Lift both knees. You're on the cushy part of your bottom. Straighten the left knee, tap the toe. Bend the knee, come back down. Hips are on the ground for mermaid stretch. And now we'll do it with two legs. If that's too much, you can do it with one leg. Only you know. You're in your own home. Listen to your body. Lift both knees. Lift up one or both legs. Tap. Down. Knees down. And mermaid stretch. Last time, lift both knees. And now straighten one or both knees. Tap, mermaid tail, bend the knees, knees down, and finish with a mermaid stretch. Release that arm and we'll add a quad stretch here. We did all those chair squats, remember when we were standing, working those thigh muscles? So let's give a nice little stretch for the quadricep muscle on the top of the thigh. Pick up that top leg, reach down and grab that foot. If you can't grab your foot, you could grab your pant leg, that works too. And draw the heel as close as you can to your bottom. Stretching the top of the thigh, the quadriceps, the four-headed muscle, hence the name quadriceps. One more breath cycle. And release. Push up, and we'll do that entire sequence on the other side. So swing your legs around so that you can bring your left elbow down to the mat. Stack your feet, stack your knees. Remember, we're not falling asleep here. Lift up out of that shoulder. Think about opening the chest. And we'll go into our mermaid sequence, second side. Pick up both knees, single leg, top leg straightens, tap the foot, lower, knees down, and now reach the arm over. Hips stay on the ground here. And the second time with one leg. Both knees up, right leg extends, tap, and down, both knees down, mermaid stretch, reaching over your head. Now the third time, here's where you can have the option of doing another single leg or join me in two legs. Both knees up, one or both knees straighten, tap, feet down, knees down, mermaid stretch. Last time, both knees up, one or both knees straighten, mermaid tail, feet down, knees down, mermaid stretch. And now we add that quadricep stretch. So float the top leg, reach down and grab the foot if you can, or maybe your pant leg. Draw that heel as close as you can to your body. Breathe. We're going to get a bunch more thigh stretches in a moment, but the quadricep is one that we either need to do standing up or lying on our side. That's one of the few ways. We can also do hero pose, but that's often not very comfortable for the knees, so I don't usually put that in the practice. Release, and we are going to push ourselves up so that we can turn and lie down on our backs. Let's do it slowly, so don't just roll down and flop down. Let's do it. Let's articulate the spine. So bend your knees and come to a seated position. If you want some support, go ahead and place your hands on the sides of your knees and now make the C shape, the deepest C shape that you can, drawing your chin to your chest And now one vertebra at a time, slowly lower all the way down. Feel the contraction of the abdominal muscles. And when your shoulder blades touch the mat, go ahead and lie all the way down. Straighten your knees out. If you want, you can do a little yawn. Yeah. And then relax. We have one more strength pose. Now 2 more strength poses, and then all stretches from there. We're going to do bridge pose and scissors. So bridge pose, we want to bend both knees. And I'm going to try to turn my face and project. So once you have your pose set up, try not to turn your face and look at the screen. Just look at the ceiling. I'm only turning so I can project my voice. So make sure you've got the upper arms pressed into the mat, and then relax your palms down to the mat. It really helps your stability and strength to press the upper arms into the mat. So think about it. Press. You should feel your shoulders even move as you press the upper arms. And now let's start with moving bridge. Start to tilt your bottoms. Lift up as high as you can. Keep the upper arms pressing. And now articulate down, one vertebra at a time, just like when we roll down to the mat. When your bottoms touch the mat, take a breath. And now inhale, lift back up again. One vertebra at a time, press the upper arms into the mat. Exhale, lower back down. One vertebra at a time. When your bottoms touch, take one breath. And now last one, inhale, lift up. This one we're going to hold. Press those upper arms into the mat. If you want extra height, walk your shoulder blades together and bring your hands beneath your bottoms, interlacing your fingers and letting the pinkies touch the mat. If you want even more height, lift your heels. Take 2 more breath cycles. And we're going to slowly come out of the pose. If your heels are lifted, lower the heels. If your shoulder blades walk together, go ahead and walk them apart. Press the upper arms into the mat and one vertebra at a time. Come all the way down to the mat and hug your knees. Add a little sway here. Massage the low back. A little bonus after that strength move, bridge pose. Bridge is a great pose for the spine, the thighs, the glutes, the core. And now rest those feet back down. And we'll go into our last strength pose, scissors. Extend both legs up. Knees are straight, going into candlestick pose. Try and make your legs straight up from your hips. So we don't want to have them too far over our face or too far away from us. We're going to start with that nice vertical line. And now let's draw that right leg closer to us so we can place both hands just gently touching the leg and allow that left leg to float away. We're making a big V in the sky or a scissors shape. Your V might be very shallow or it might be deeper. You pick, and now switch. Don't look at your screen anymore. Look straight up at the ceiling. Neck is relaxed. If you want to add a little more challenge for the core muscles here, you could lift your head and shoulders, but keep looking straight up at the ceiling. Every time you pause, inhale, and when you move, exhale. That's how your breath flows with this pose. Do one more each leg. And tuck your knees, relax your head back down. Once again, add that little sway, upside down child's pose. That was your last strength move. We're going to go into some stretches now. So plant your feet flat on the mat. Set your feet as wide as the mat. Your arms can rest directly down on the mat alongside your body. You can come into a T shape, or you can make cactus arms above. Whatever's comfortable to you. We're going into windshield wipers. Allow the knees to float to one side together, back through center, and the other side. Go at your own pace. Windshield wipers, This is a great pose for spinal rotation. Adds a little massage to the low back and gluteal area. And it even adds a little baby outer thigh stretch. One more to each side. And then wherever you are, draw your knees towards the left. So your knees are dropped towards your device. And we're going to go into open belly twist. So stack the knees, one on top of the other. Look directly up at the ceiling. If you want to add a little extra hip stretch here, keeping the top leg bent, draw that bent knee towards your chest, and then reach down with your left hand and grab the calf or the heel and tuck it in a little closer to your chest. And you're going to feel a deeper stretch in that right hip. Just letting the left hand add a little resistance there to deepen your stretch. One more breath cycle. And if you've moved that leg, go ahead and stack the knees again. Inhale the knees to center, and we'll go to the other side. Go ahead and drop both knees towards the right. Look straight up at the ceiling, let the shoulders relax. Feel that rotation between the spine and the pelvis. If you want to add the extra hip stretch, that top leg, your left leg, allow that bent knee to float up towards your chest, and then reach down with your right hand and grab the calf or the heel and draw it a little bit closer. Feeling that deeper stretch through the hip. Outer thigh and hip stretch here. One more breath cycle. If that knee is up towards your chest, go ahead and stack it back on top of the opposite knee. Inhale the knees to center. Readjust your low back. And we'll add a couple more thigh stretches here. That was the outer thigh. We did the top of the thigh when we did mermaid. So let's get the backs of the thighs now. Go ahead and draw your right knee into your chest and straighten your left leg out. Give it a little hug. That'll stretch the psoas, the hip flexor area. And then straighten that right knee, bringing the foot up towards the ceiling, bringing your hands either behind your calf or your thigh. And then draw that leg a little closer to you, but keep the knee straight. Let your shoulders fall back into the mat. So even though your arms are forward, don't let your shoulders lift up. Let them fall down into the mat. Stretching the back of the leg here, hamstring and calf. If you want, add a little ankle mobility, moving that foot around. Your ankle is a very mobile joint, so go ahead and move it in all different areas. Remember to keep the knee straight and keep your stretch going. A lot to remember. One more breath cycle. Hug the knee into the chest, and we'll get the inner thigh. Using the right hand on the right bent knee, keep it bent. Push it away from the screen, opening the knee towards the right for an inner thigh stretch. Your left hand can rest on your belly or on the mat, whatever's comfortable to you. One more breath cycle. Push the knee back, give it another hug, and we'll change sides. Send the right foot to the bottom of your mat, draw your left knee in, give it a hug. Stretching that psoas on the right area there, that right hip flexor area. And then straighten out that left knee, bringing your hands behind the calf or the thigh. Remember, as you reach forward to the leg, your shoulders probably popped up off the mat. So then think about letting them fall back into the mat, pulling that straight leg towards you. And now don't look at the screen, look straight up at the foot in the air, and add your ankle mobility if you like. Pointing and flexing, rocking side to side, circling both directions. Keep the stretch going, and keep the knee straight. Take one more breath cycle here. And hug the knee into your body. Relax those shoulders. We'll add the inner thigh stretch on this side as well. Keep your left hand on the left leg. Keep the knee bent and open that knee to the left, letting that knee fall towards your device. Keep looking straight up at the ceiling. Keep the shoulders connected to the mat. Breathe. One more breath cycle. Push the knee back. Give it one more hug. And we're going to finish with happy baby before relaxation. So draw both knees into your chest. Separate your knees wide and flex the feet. Let the soles of the feet look up at the ceiling. Crawl your hands up to your shins, your ankles, your big toes, or even the soles of the feet. Draw the knees towards your armpits. A little bit deeper stretch, and we're stretching the low back and the hips here. And now don't look at the screen anymore. Look up at the ceiling. If you want, you can add a little sway if that feels good. Remember, your happy baby might be a different look than mine, so listen to your body. Maybe your knees don't bend that much, and you have to grab onto your shins. That's okay. Listen to your body. Make the pose your own. Take one more breath cycle here. Bring your arms down. One at a time, bring your feet down. And we'll go into relaxation. If you want, you could let your knees rest against each other, or you could straighten out the legs for corpse pose. Come into whatever pose is comfortable to you. You could come into a sideline fetal position if you like. I'm sitting up just to project my voice, but you can remain lying down. Close your eyes. Remember that very first hand gesture that we did, representing the eagle? Picture the eagle. Picture that eagle soaring through the sky, wings spread wide, catching the wind, looking down at the earth below, always reaching higher, upwards, new goals, in harmony and balance. Take 2 more breath cycles here. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. We're going to return to a seated pose. You can roll to your side and push yourselves up to a seated pose as we started this half of our practice, or you can do one sit-up if you feel like one more strength pose, and come to a seated pose. You can sit cross-legged, but if that bothers your knees, you can send your legs forward, or you can come into mermaid sit if you prefer, whatever's comfortable to you. So we talked about harmony, that hand gesture that represented harmony and balance. So my quote today is kind of about harmony. Harmony is created when you have multiple parts working together to create something beautiful, like harmony in a choir or a symphony. So that's also diversity. So my quote is about diversity, and the quote is from a woman, an author named Liz Fessling, and she wrote, it's interesting, it starts off with diversity, but it gets better. Diversity is having a seat at the table. Inclusion is having a voice. Belonging is having that voice be heard. So embrace diversity, my friends, but take it the next steps into inclusion and belonging, and let all the voices be heard. Bring your hands outside your hips. Inhale to the sky. Let your thumbs touch your mind, your spirit breath, and your body. The spirit in me honors the spirit in all of you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today, whether it was Thursday or some other day. And I'll be saving this video so you can come back and view it again. Thank you all. Bye-bye.